You must not avert your eyes. This is what is coming at us. Do not avert your eyes.
We'll do it live.
Although, do I need to have any Foley work going? I don't know.
I guess we should talk about this fucking French movie.
Oh,
You know, that's my heritage, my friend. No, we got kicked out of France.
yeah. I was gonna say, even the guy that they sent over from France was like, I don't like this fucking place either, and then he left.
Oh God.
Wasn't that what happened with the founder of New Orleans or Louisiana?
No. So
He's some French guy that was like, ugh, I fucking hate this place. Let me go back to.
I don't know about the founder of
Canada.
New Orleans, but Cajuns specifically were Acadians, and they were in the Canada area, and we were expelled
Ah,
for political
okay.
reasons
Okay.
and driven into the swamps.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
All right, folks. And join us next time on the Louisiana History Hour. But now let's talk about what's up, Patrick? How are you?
You know what? I'm doing
As you
that.
will.
I am doing that as best as I can, giving the current fascist takeover.
Mhm.
And also, winter finally ended in Texas, so it's like a bajillion degrees outside.
Hmm.
Between those two
Yeah.
things,
That happens.
I'm just trying to thread that needle. We at least got rid of the demonic entity known as Scarab Jam. I'm sure that there's no other demonic entities that will affect us.
Don't say the name anymore. That's just not even think about the name anymore. Because
Fucking thank you. You two chuckle fucks bring that motherfucker back into my video store. This soon, I'm going to scream. And then I'm going to peel your flesh from your bones. But the screaming comes first.
See, you had me up until the flesh from my bones part. I was gonna do it, and then you just capped it off perfectly. Now I can't.
That's called effective communication. I set my boundary, and then I told you what would happen if you crossed it. Evisceration. Always, always lead with evisceration.
Yeah, I like my skin. I'm kind of attached to it.
That's the top-notch writing you could expect on Found on Shelf.
Yes. And
I'm just kidding. We don't write.
No, I jobble down notes sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's legible. Other times I don't know what the hell the notes refer to. So
Have you ever taken notes while drunk?
it's happened.
Well, one might even say it's happened recently. Yeah.
Maybe, but we don't know what we're watching yet. So yes. What do we do here? Do we talk about anything? Do we just pull the trigger, see what's going on?
I don't know. It's been a minute since we actually recorded.
Hey, you know what would be nice? Hello and welcome to the Found on Shelf podcast. A podcast about movies. Well, it's sometimes about movies. It used to be mostly about movies. Now these two just kind of prattle on about everything. But every week, we take a look at a new, strange movie from my cursed video store. And we talk about it. I'm Gimcrack, the demonic owner of this cursed video store will be broadcast live from. I've hijacked their normal podcast to subject them to terrors from beyond reasoning. Is that about sum it up? Is that the gist of the show?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's some or gist. That was a bit wordy there.
So how would you phrase it?
Thanks for listening to the Found on Shelf podcast, the official podcast of PodCoin, brought to you by Gimcrack Video. Check out what's new at gimcrackvideo.com or give us a call, 252-564-8666.
The hotlines are open.
You didn't even mention phone numbers. You didn't mention websites.
Well, I mean,
Gimcrack the babbler.
You know, I'm going to bring the flaying back into play here. I think I took it off the table too soon.
I think it's just fine, and I am. I'm ready to watch a movie.
Do you still have that gross, soggy bag of coins you found in a piss-soaked back alley?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of rude when you put it that way, but yes, I still have it. I tried to wash them off.
Okay, see?
They don't smell that much like rat piss anymore.
Yeah, sure, rat piss. Anyway,
Anyway,
go ahead and
here's that.
go ahead and push that button.
All right, here we go.
Smoke rises on the horizon. A camel wears shades. Everything turns to ash.
That's very cryptic.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Does it say thanks for smoking?
Is this like a cigarette dispensing machine from the 80s, or is this the movie fortune telling thingy? I might have had a couple of beers already, so I'm not 100% sure.
It does say smoking causes coughing. Maybe it's like an advisory film or something, you know, like one of those like...
Surgeon. Oh, is this like Red Asphalt?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So I guess we are in for it here. Let's roll that trailer here.
Alpha, Reader's Escape. Recruit a team of teenagers with attitudes.
Oh, wait, no, stop. Okay, I had to stop before we get sued. No, I'm sorry. I was confused. I thought it might have been a different movie when we first started it.
So Smoking Causing Coughing is a French movie from 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And the general vibe is one of those like deconstructionist comedies, but about Power Rangers.
In a movie that is and is not about Power Rangers. Oh, wait.
Yes, so you have a call on line 2?
Yeah, hi. I came down there yesterday and rented a movie, and I came down there to get Alien Romulus. And when I got home, it was Alien Rubicon inside, and I'm like, what? I'm like, oh hell no! I know they just try to slip me the old mockbuster, right? So I'm like, I was like, no. I was like, I'm gonna teach you a lesson, right? So I grab my gun, right? Start loading it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this movie on just because I like watching something while I load my guns. So I put that shit on, Rubicon, and I'm loading, I'm watching, and I'm like, you know what? This movie's actually pretty good. So actually, I put the gun down and grabbed my popcorn, and I watched the whole movie, and I loved it. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. Director Adrian Avila, he's got a bright future ahead of him. Can't wait to see what he does next. But you guys got real lucky on that one. The purpose of this call, I'm gonna tell you, I'm keeping that shit, and you're not getting it back. All right, I'm keeping this fucking movie. It's mine now. You're never getting it back. Delete it from your inventory. All right, that's all I gotta say.
Okay.
Gimcrack, are you intentionally swapping movies out?
No, that one was just a mistake on my part. I wanted to give him a movie from the 80s about aliens, but it was a different mockbuster. It would have like driven him mad until his eyes bled out of his head. It would have been cool. But unfortunately, I misfiled it and gave him Alien Rubicon instead.
Okay.
Which a solid mockbuster film apparently. So jokes on me.
I guess so. But on the plus side, I guess you made him put down his gun and grab his popcorn.
Yeah, it's definitely the most American thing that's happened on this show.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. All right, is that all we got for the phone calls there, Gimcrack?
You have a debt collector on line 2. I don't know how they got my number, but if you want to take that call, you can. If not, we can just pretend it isn't here. It's something about PODCOIN, so
no,
you might want to find out like what you're going to do about the PODCOIN.
All right, phone lines are now closed.
Start breaking your legs and like.
Thank you for calling. Feel free to call.
I'm just saying, you owe me a lot of money. Who else do you owe at this point? It's getting dangerous.
I don't really want to talk about that right now. But don't worry, PodCoin's on an upswing right now. There's a huge flux of interest into it. Not at all related to Chinese server farms. These are legitimate sales. So, I mean, really, now is the best time to get on PodCoin before it's unaffordable.
Is this a tough sell? What are we doing here?
I'm just selling PodCoin. It's fine. It's fine.
So,
smoking causes coughing.
Yeah.
Why did the jackalope pick this one?
Well, It's an interesting question. Why does a jackalope do anything?
Why does it jackalope jackals?
Oh, it's a better interesting question. How the fuck would you pitch this movie? I'm coming up blank. Like,
Well, you could do I don't know. You could do legitimate maybe I should start taking my movie pitches a little more serious.
we are so rusty. Holy shit.
So it's a movie about the bonding strengths of a team similar to Power Rangers when they get older. And they like to sit around and tell some stories about what had happened and then save the day as a superhero team does.
It's a hot fucking mess is what it is.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, so the idea of the movie is what if you were to do, like I said, a takedown of the Power Rangers in a deconstructionist comedy way, and the group of superheroes in this case are called the Tobacco Force, right? And so that's the smoking causes coughing thing. How it ends up playing out is a series of non-connected stories in vignettes stitched together for what a 90-minute runtime. Is it shorter than that?
Oh, it's right around there.
It's a movie, and it's not a bad movie, but like for me, it didn't connect in a way that I felt pretty satisfied with. And then I did figure out why almost immediately after.
Sounds like you need a group retreat.
It is better than most of the team building exercises I've actually been subjected to.
All right, how about this for a pitch? What if they made a movie about like the Power Rangers when they got older, but really it's just a wraparound to tell a couple of other stories, and we get the guy that directed Rubber to do it.
Yeah,
How's
see,
that sound?
that's why I figured out it didn't work for me, because Rubber didn't work for me.
Yeah,
and
concept's great.
It has the same problem. Is the core conceit of the film is not really what the movie is, right? Because like Rubber, if Rubber was about a sentient psychic tire serial killer that rolled around the countryside making people's heads explode, if that was what it was actually about,
yeah,
it'd be awesome. But
that's how it was sold.
And it's not what it's about, though. It's about the people on the cliff watching it happen, because it's about the act of watching a movie, right?
Yeah,
and a very like almost condemning tone, which is interesting. And anyway, so all this particular gentleman's movies do feel very similar to that. They're all very wacky and they have a conceit, but that's not really what he wants to talk about. And the thing about this movie is I didn't figure out what the movie actually wanted to say. Like there at least is like a message in Rubber. Whether or not I think it works, it's like it does have a very clear theme.
Yeah,
I couldn't parse together a real theme out of this guy.
It was a bit it was a bit scattered. Yeah,
a little bit all over the place, much like our show.
Yes, that does happen every once in a while.
But anyway, we open with a child pissing.
Yes, and a song with subtitles are "God is a smoker of Havanas."
I was on board for the black credits with the just like, empty black screen, blue electric neon credits, and then the song "The God is a Smoker of Havanas." I was on board for whatever was happening there, and then we open to a family on vacation.
The whole opening scene, I'm on board.
Yeah, and this kid needs to go piss, and then when they let him off to the side of the road, instead he hears noises coming from the beach, and he goes over and he sees his favorite Avengers, which is what he calls them, the favorite Avengers, the Tobacco Force, battling a turtle monster, and he goes and asks his dad for binoculars so we can watch it, and then we see the battle of these Power Ranger figures fighting the turtle monster, which actually this is great because like some of them are just kind of like talking and shit talking on the side, like water cooler talk, while the other ones fight.
And they're like, we really need all of us here. We gotta Captain Planet this shit and get let all our powers combine.
So the Tobacco Force is five people, right?
Yes.
And the characters are there's four people.
No, there's nicotine.
There's nicotine.
Benzene.
Methanol. I was forgetting about methanol.
Ammonia and mercury. Those were the five, and they're all like basically cancer-causing superpowers, and they combine to pour all their smoke towards the turtle monster.
And they say to give him cancer.
Yeah.
What
Like,
happens is he explodes.
what, Patrick? We don't know the effect of instant super cancer on a giant turtle.
This is true. You know what? This is true. In today's troubling times, we need to really reestablish faith in science. I can't make empirical statements. We don't
Right.
know the effects of giving a turtle instantaneous super cancer. But this
Yep.
movie claims
Giant turtles. Please
giant
specify.
turtles, yeah. The hypothesis that if you were to do that, it would explode in a glorious shower of blood and guts in what is definitely the best part of the entire movie.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the top two parts. We'll get to the other part a bit later. But yes, this part was fantastic. I mean, it's all over the kid on the cliff. It's everywhere.
Yeah. It's the watermelon pit, right?
Yeah, and there's like chunks too, not just blood. It's just, oh, it was beautiful. And from that point on, I'm like, fuck yeah, this movie's gonna rule. Little did I know that this was just the wraparound for the actual. Like, I don't know what the hell the actual movie is, but yes, you're right. It was just the wraparound. So let's see. A little robot comes out and sprays them all down, wiping them clean. He's kind of a dumb little robot, but what superhero team doesn't have a little robot as sidekick, right? Yeah, and we meet the chief. The chief gives a video call. So
Yeah, so they report to a rat muppet. It's
looked exactly like Meet the Feebles guy to me.
yeah. It's we'll say a 4 foot tall rat muppet with green goo constantly dripping out of its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the chief, and he's who they report to. And he's like, I was looking at the metadata from your last fight, and you guys aren't in sync at all. In fact, you're giving into individualism. We have to nip that shit in the bud. We got to send you to a work retreat, do a team building exercises, work on your bonding.
Right. And the one guy says that he was supposed to go see his family, and they're like, "This is more important." Like, it just. And it's like, look, bonding is important with the team, not the family. Screw your family, bond with them another time. Now you're on the team's dollar. Let's do this.
To quote Glenn Ross, good father, fuck you. Go home and play with your kids. If you want to work here, close.
Exactly. So yeah, they go on a little retreat, and then as they drive off, they see the family of the little kids, and one guy explains the whole tobacco force is anti-smoking, and they never smoke, and they use their evil powers of smoking to push the negative force back and fight evil. This is what I gathered from my high school French lessons.
And the subtitles. Yeah, of course. I don't know where to go from here, man. This my brain is not working tonight. So they have that little powwow with the family, and then they go on to the retreat. Now, when they arrive at the retreat, their robot servant, their Alpha 5 figure, the little robot guy, he immediately jumps into a lake to kill himself.
Yeah.
And then with their base is underground, they start exploring that, where they're going to be staying for the weekend for this team building exercise. While Nicotina tries to call the chief again to seduce him because she has a crush on the rat chief, you know.
Yeah.
So she wants to jump that rat, and unfortunately, when she calls, she disturbs said chief while he's already in bed with another woman.
Chief rat fucks.
Yeah. Now, is this the same woman he's with later?
I didn't go back and look. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It might have been, but I think it was another woman later.
Yeah, it could be. It could be multiple. It could be a Casanova.
Yeah, go get it. Yeah, and they say,
"Hey, just gonna snap that and just use it as a soundbite for the rest of the show."
Damn it! It was due to happen sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chief basically is like, yeah, it's normal for the robot to commit suicide. And then they all sit around a campfire and decide to tell horror stories.
And this is where the movie gets interesting, because I've been on board up until now. It's like, okay, we're going to watch this kind of like comedic look at the Power Rangers idea, that aesthetic of like a Super Sentai type of like a Super Sentai genre. but from a French comedy. And let's see in some interesting ways it'll go. Right, very very like Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson's really inspired by the French, and this is kind of like in that kind of like quirky vein with all the bright primary colors and everything.
Yeah, and you're thinking, oh, what kind of shenanigans are going to go on at the retreat here?
And we're already seeing some interpersonal drama play out, and everything is very French. And I'm like, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And then we find then they start telling scary stories, and it becomes apparent that the rest of the movie are just going to be stories stitched together.
Yes, but they do make fun of it, which is good. But yeah, I want more of the Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's
I want them fighting more.
It's a really interesting like idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Because like this director put out 2 movies this year, so his attention was definitely like divided between multiple projects he was cooking, and I'm just not really sure where some of the ideas for some of these stories go, because they are in the vein of scary stories. So we do shift genres from superhero to horror. But I don't really know that I would call most of them horror comedies. I would call them outright horror until like the last story.
Yeah, that was my favorite. Yeah, I would say, and that's why I think it's listed as a horror comedy. Is it's like a comedy wraparound with the horror mini stories? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we get to their first little story. What do we have? We have it's a group of friends that are going out in a go to like a little. It's a group of friends going out for a retreat. See how it connects to the main story here.
So you have 2 couples. You have two husbands and wives going out to a retreat, like a little Airbnb type place. I think they've rented for the weekend, and they're exploring the house. And one of the wives finds a box with a mask in it. And this is very confusing to me. I have no anchoring as to what is going on in the story, if it's meant to be this disconcerting or if it's rooted in something that I don't know anything about. But she's like, "Oh, this looks like fun," in reference to just putting on a mask.
Yeah.
And it's like
an isolation helmet.
It's an isolation helmet, is what they call it. And it's this big upholstered mask with like a very small slit for your eyes. And it's kind of like pill shaped, and it goes over her head.
Yeah.
And she puts it on and then immediately becomes darkly introspective and nihilistic. And like,
yeah. Have you ever been in an isolation tank?
I have not. I've seen Altered States.
Mm-hmm.
Have you?
I've been in an isolation tank 3 times.
Really?
Yeah.
And at what point did you regress to a primal state and start killing people? Because that's what Altered State was about. And I just assumed everyone's experience is the same.
That was my latest one. That was a few weeks ago after. Well, I thought it'd be kind of cool to like down a bottle of Sigma Brain and then go in the isolation tank.
Of course, yes.
I would not recommend that first timers at all. But I don't think the people that were killed were part of our dimension, so I don't think it's illegal.
Is it a possibility that you're wanted for interdimensional murder and we don't know it yet?
It's also possible that it all just happened in my head from the isolation tank. So I mean, take both of those into consideration.
So just to recap what's going on. So you possibly murdered people in another dimension.
I wouldn't call them people.
Also, there are police looking for us because of our extra-dimensional activities.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you have a Bitcoin a cryptocurrency you're trying.
PODCOIN.
Yeah, a PODCOIN you're trying to promote because you owe me money and I've stolen your show. Also, you've taken an illegal supplement called Sigma Brain that is, in fact, an evil kind of like alien parasite growing plan to invade the planet, and you've coughed up a sentient tumor that is currently somewhere in our vents. Right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Do additionally, we also have the life-size statue of a fast food mascot that may possibly be evil and sentient.
Mhm.
And last week our guest was a demonic ripoff of a certain IP that we do not own. So
Yeah.
is that just to put that on that? This is still a movie show, right?
Yeah, we're talking about a movie until you interrupted us.
Do you ever get the feeling that there's too much going on the show?
Nah. I
Well,
mean, it's fine. I'll go take some time in the isolation tank and think about it.
well, before you do, I think we should read an ad real quick.
Oh, okay, let's do it. We still have advertisers even after that Sigma brain shit. All right, I'm ready to start this whenever you are.
All right. I think it's your week to read the
What
copy.
is this shit? All right. You know, I think Sigma Brain's really got me cranky, and I don't know why. Are we still there? Are we still sponsor them? Do they have?
No, they just paid for the 1 week, but they sent enough boxes to quote unquote conquer humanity.
All right.
And I think Dustin's just ate them all.
There's like 5 left. Anyway, let's get to this ad here. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. You want me to read it? Here we go. Gooner is a revolutionary app. Should I do it in the radio guy voice or should I just do it in normal voice? What do you think?
Let me hear your radio guy voice.
Gooner is a revolutionary app designed for your personal private protection.
I hate it. Keep going.
Are you a very important person who's paranoid about their own personal safety, always on the edge and willing to outsource their protection to armed strangers you hire over the internet? Look no further than Gooner. I don't think I can do that voice the whole time. I'm not as good as you. Disrupting the traditional gooning industry, this app will put you in touch with veterans in the field. Our top-notch goons are comprised of seasoned henchmen, minions, miscreants, and bruisers with at least 10 years experience in villainy. Are we doing ads for Hitman? With just a stroke of a button, any gooner can schedule their own muscle-bound lackey, tell them how to dress, what weapons they should bring, and what color car to pick you up in. Oh, see, a gooner like you're hiring a goon. Oh,
Yeah,
Patrick,
yeah.
I thought the app was something. Yeah, where am I at here? Color card to pick you up. Our options come in black, midnight, obsidian, shadow, charcoal, squid ink, eclipse, and neon fuchsia. A lot of really dark colors. So whether you're a tech bro who made a lot of enemies after selling a startup, a finance bro who ripped off the wrong people in a Ponzi scheme, or just some trust fund kid who's in over his head in debt to the mob after an ill-conceived yarn-based Etsy scheme went south. That seemed very specific. Protection is only one gooning session away. And for our professional associates looking to get out of the rat race of day-to-day goon work, we have an easy application process. We know that gooning can be a long, hard endeavor. Why not lighten the load by joining our service to be a certified goon? Download Gooner and join the goon state today.
I'm very concerned about that one. Where do you find these people?
I thought Gimco called them.
Around.
Yeah, okay. Around where? All right. So where are we at? Oh, the lady
I
puts
think
a
we were
helmet on.
gooning?
Service food. Yeah. No, we're not gooning right now.
Oh. Well, I'll put the lotion away.
We're potting.
We're potting? We're
Pot-
casting. We're podcasting.
Casting?
We're podcasting.
Casting pots. We're casting pots into the sea.
I think the word association test is failed. In the movie, the woman has put on an isolation helmet and she is withdrawn into herself and become not only nihilistic, but like bitter and angry. And the 3 people that are with her husband and their friends, they want to get her to take the helmet off, but it has molded to her flesh, or at least it can't come off anymore.
Yeah, and she's sitting there like watching her husband dance, just going, oh, he fucking sucks at dancing. I can't ever remember loving him, even for a single second. She's just bitter and hateful, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, his
Yeah.
dancing was very bad.
Mm-hmm. This is true. But she takes it a little bit further.
Yeah, so while they're trying to get the helmet off of her by pounding on it with a hammer and sawing on it with a saw while her head is still inside of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was right after Beth was on.
To be fair, they did call the ER. They did call the doctor, and the nearest ER was 2 hours away. And their friend said, "Oh, that's too long to drive. Let's just crack it open with a hammer or take a saw to it." So,
Right.
I'm not entirely on their side here.
Yeah, I don't think they've got the best intentions.
So to prevent that, she starts murdering them. She just gouges out the one friend. She gouges out his eye with a screwdriver. Then she takes an umbrella and she goes and murders her husband and their friend's wife. Now, for flavor, the friend is kind of like the schlubby best friend in any sitcom, and his wife is super obsessed with filming everything on the phone. So I'm sure it's supposed to say something about phone culture.
Yeah.
But then after she does that, she dies too, right? Or they just oh, that's right. She submerges herself in the husband and wife. I'm sorry, her husband and her friend's wife try to hide in a swimming pool. She submerges herself in the pool to murder them, and her water helmet fills up with water.
Yeah,
and drowns. And then we cut back to the everyone reading the ghost story. Now, what I will say is this is after the incident where Nicotina tries to seduce the chief, and she's having a real emotional problem here. She's very distraught.
Which was the style at the time?
2025, everyone. 2025. Round of applause. So they decided to tell scary stories, and she's not exactly on board with it. And then also Monia says she's super sensitive. But the guy telling the story does try to get everyone's consent to tell the story before he does.
Right.
And so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Except for they still do tell the story, even though people clearly don't want to.
Well, I mean, they just say ask for consent. They don't say wait for approval. They just say ask for it.
It's coercive consent. Anyway, but I think part of that is the commentary of what they're talking about, because then it's methanol, right? He's like saying that stuff to a woman isn't cool, but he says it like someone's like, we're not doing this period, and he's like, saying period to a woman isn't cool. And then and Ammonia's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He didn't mean anything by it. So I think they're like trying to like get your performative lip service to being considerate instead of actually being considerate, right? But they're going to tell more scary stories. Mercury wants to tell the next story, but he gets interrupted because a child has wandered upon their campsite.
Yeah.
And the child wants to tell a scary story.
Right.
And the child's scary story is legitimately upsetting. Why don't you regale us with that?
Wait, wasn't her story just about a fish that swam up the river?
Yeah.
And it was poisoned?
Yeah, the fish is just like swimming in the water, and it's a little cloudy, so he tries to swim up higher and higher to see, and then he breaches the surface and sees that the reason that the water is so cloudy is people are dumping toxic waste, and then it just ends.
Yeah, it was pretty goddamn depressing.
Yeah, there was no way to follow that.
No way good.
Mercury wants to still tell a story. Everyone's like done with it. It's like, no,
they were like, we're going to sleep.
We can't do this anymore. There's. God damn, we should have stopped. That kid fucking came to play, right?
Yeah.
And they all regret it telling scary stories. And they're like, no, we have to end this.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, reality is kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. The EPA will have lots of protections in place, right?
Yeah. Well, they're in France, so probably.
Okay. Yeah, they'll be taken care of.
Yeah. They have rights we don't have anymore.
Yeah. Somehow they can just eat a shitload of cheese and drink a shitload of wine and still look amazing.
Yeah.
So anywho, that was her whole story. And then the guy, Mercury never got to tell his story. And also in this place where they live, this little egg-shaped white dome that they all live inside of, there's a fridge in the kitchen. And when you open up the fridge, it's basically like a CVS or a Walgreens kind of store inside with a little lady clerk.
So two things is they don't live here. They're just
Well,
spending
this
the
is for
weekend.
their retreat. Yes.
Yeah. And they're like, wow, this place comes complete with a supermarket fridge. So in this world, this is a thing that just exists.
Hmm. I wonder if the supermarket fridge is kind of like Gimcrack's video store. Are there people just opening this fridge in their own area, and then all of a sudden it's the same lady?
That seems rather far-fetched to me. I don't know if I would buy into a premise like that.
Okay, just a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
but yeah.
supermarket fridge.
Yeah. And then like Methanol tries to hit on her that later.
Yeah. Calls her a
Uh,
whore or something. I don't remember. Says something.
No. He
Well,
asks. He very clumsily tries to hit on her, and
Yeah.
she says that she's not a whore. Is her words.
Okay, she says she's not. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. First, he asks for pills for a headache, and she doesn't have any. And then he tries to get her to come out for a nightcap, and she says, "I'm not a pharmacist, and even less a whore." And
Yeah.
that ends the discussion.
I think he's the only person that has tried to get laid by saying he has a headache. I'll be here all night, folks.
Wait, hold on. Where is that? Oh, well, I don't have it anymore. I thought I had a drum kick on this. Don't I have a drum kick? Hold on.
There it is. Gets a barracuda out of the lake or something. My notes at this point, I think the Sigma brain was taking over, and I wrote it in some dude language that I can't understand because it's worn off a little bit.
Yeah, the leader of the team. Which one is him? He was
Was he Nicotine or Benzine? I don't remember.
Nicotine's a girl. Benzine.
Okay.
He's Benzine.
He's Benzine. All right.
Yeah. So Ben jumps in the lake and
Benny.
well, okay. Ben jumps in a lake for some reason recreationally to go swimming, I guess. While Nicotine and Ammonia have a conversation, Nicotine is like, I wanted to fuck the rat. The rat's fucking someone else. And Ammonia's like, why would you ever want to fuck the rat? He's a rat. And also green shit comes out of his mouth. And Nicotine's like, oh, yeah. I guess because I'm a virgin, I never thought about it. But yeah, maybe that is gross.
Yeah.
And then we find out later that Ammonia has been fucking the rat.
Mhm.
So
Been like seducing him. So like
yeah. And so while they're talking, Benzine comes back with a barracuda he caught in the lake.
Mhm. Okay.
This is important because in a very short order, they're going to be sitting around having dinner, and the barracuda will be on the grill. Now, but before that happens, they do get a new robot sent to them, a newer model. It's supposed to be better than the last one.
Yes.
And so in this but they're having some trouble with him. He doesn't seem like he's as smart. It doesn't seem as conversational or as useful as the model they just had.
Yeah. Rather slow. And yeah.
Yeah. But they're thinking about, but I think Mercury is trying to tell his story again.
Yeah.
And
That's the kind of running gag is that he's always trying to tell his story and gets cut off.
And this time he gets interrupted by the barracuda that's currently being grilled on the stovetop.
Which is fantastic.
This was actually one of the best parts of the movie. It was also very French for the barracuda to suddenly come to life and talk while he's being cooked.
Right?
It just felt like something I've seen in a movie before. It's great.
Yeah.
Now he tells.
I love this story.
He tells what is the only comedy story in this comedy movie.
Yeah.
And it's horrifying because we are transported to a lumber yard.
Yeah, a little lumber mill, cutting up logs and stuff.
And one of the employees runs to the boss, and he tells her, "You have to come quickly. It's your nephew." And we go, and he has fallen in the wood chipper. He's fallen feet first in the wood chipper, and they've managed to stop the blade somehow at just his ankle. So he's stuck in the wood chipper up to his ankles, and they're trying to figure out how to get him out.
Yeah, but he feels no pain.
He feels no pain, he says.
Yeah, doesn't hurt at all. So yeah, and she gets her ready. So she's going to put the machine in reverse.
Yeah.
So it'll kind of pull him out, right?
Yeah, and this goes on for a while, and every time they try to pull him out, they just grind up more
Yeah.
and more of him until he is eaten completely.
Yes. Yeah, at one point he's like down to just his neck, and he's like, "I feel fine. It feels fine." And yeah, just absolutely nothing. And then a guy has this a bucket full of this red slop and goo.
That used to be him,
It used to be
and
what's kind of left of him.
and his mouth is floating in the goo, and he's still alive. He can talk now.
And the mouth is talking. I fucking love that.
Like, I'm sorry, Aunt. I've put you through so much. I was so dumb.
And then the woman's gonna drive the bucket, I'm assuming, back to the kid's mom's house, his sister or her
Yeah,
sister's house, whatever.
exactly.
And the mouth in the bucket's like, I want to have a smoke.
And it throws up everywhere because it's never smoked before. But
Like, none of that makes sense, and I love it.
do we want to talk about the actual best part of this? I mean, if anyone wants to watch this movie, it will ruin them for knowing this happens. But
It will, because it caught me off guard, and I laughed my ass off and
All right,
rewound it like 4 times.
here's spoilers. If you actually want to watch this movie at this point, just skip about 5 minutes in the future.
Yeah. Or just pause it,
now.
watch the movie, and then come back and listen to it.
Yep. So, starting now, she goes to ring the doorbell.
So yeah, and my notes were exactly written as "Holy shit!"
I screamed. I literally screamed. I screamed and covered my face. This was too much. She when she rings the doorbell, she gets startled.
Yeah, so she's got this giant like bucket. It's like a big bucket that she's got to have both arms wrapped around, and she's trying to hold flowers too, because she's taking the remains of her nephew over to her sister to give to him.
But he's still alive.
He's still alive. He's a little mouth moving around.
But she gets startled and she accidentally dumps the bucket of goop all down the front steps to her sister's house. And then
in such an alarming, like, instant shot. Like there was no time to prepare yourself for this.
Yep.
It was, I push doorbell, drop this whole bucket of Chad or Chum or whatever his name was.
Yeah. And then a dog comes and takes his talking mouth away to eat, and there's nothing left of him but this goop all down all down his mother's stoop, and then the door opens with her standing there.
And then we cut right back to the tobacco forest because the Barracuda is dead, and we couldn't finish the story.
The Barracuda got burnt before he could finish the story, and now they can't even eat him.
Oh God, that was holy shit. I'm sorry. I just had okay. You know what? PodCoin's doing pretty good right now. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to tell you numbers. I don't want to jinx it, but get it on the PodCoin now. Trust me. Now, wink, wink. I can't wink on the podcast, so I have to say it. What else can you do? What is a audible wink?
You just did it.
I need some Sigma brain. Hold on, I gotta think about this. Yeah, hold on. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, you only got the suppositories left. Hang on one second.
Wait, no. Hey, hold
okay.
on. Oh, God.
All right. I'm good.
Okay.
Sorry, just yeah.
Have you coughed up any more of those tumors?
No. So in their movie,
I'm so convinced by that. Holy shit. Jesus Christ, Dustin, what have you done?
What haven't I done?
Yeah, so so the overarching idea is they had to go on a retreat because they're not in sync enough to fight their next big bad guy, Lizardin, a James Bond villain that seems to be part lizard who's going to destroy the world.
Yeah.
The next morning, they're all chilling, and they get all by the lake, and they get a call from the chief, and Ammonia goes and picks it up, and this is when she tries to come on to the chief. And he cuts her off. It's like, it's too late. Lizardin's put his plan into action. The whole world's going to be destroyed.
Yeah. See, I want all the Power Rangers scenes are great. Like,
yeah. Now the more of this movie would have been cool, because like what you could have done, because it has interpersonal drama and struggles, and like everyone has a very clear like version of their arc, because like Benzain is old and he's set in his ways, and he's alien, and like he could see where he needs to change, where he's alienating people and how he can grow from that. And Methanol is like thinks that he's a good person but is operating in a very selfish framework and could grow from that. Nicotina, can grow in her emotional endeavor, like through her relationships and her need for fulfillment in that place. Also, Ammonia has a very similar thing because they're in a love triangle with a rat, so there's a lot of friction there that you can mine for depth. Mercury has a family that he's not allowed to see because his job is so demanding. Like, there's cool ways you could actually turn this into a comedic drama, more in the vein
And
that I would
Ammonia
think it
had a
would be.
nice fat ass. I apologize. That Sigma brain suppository is kicking in. I'm sorry. That might have been a little out of line. I apologize. Okay. All of what you said is very, very true. No, yeah, no, there's definitely, and what's kind of weird is I liked the little mini stories within on their own as well. So I'm like, these are like, except the one with the fish getting poisoned, that was perfect. You don't need to make it any longer. Leave it like that. But the other two stories actually could have been fleshed out to a bigger story, and you could have left the Tobacco Forest story as a full movie.
Yeah, you could have.
Except for the ending's a little weird.
Well, that's the part why it doesn't really work. If they could have stuck the landing, maybe I'd have a different opinion of this movie. But it doesn't really, and I think the point is that it doesn't, and I'm not satisfied with that.
Yeah, so we're with the James Bond lizard guy, and he's ready to blow up the Earth, and he's like, the countdown starts, and he's like, oh, and then he has to put the countdown on hold because it's dinner time.
Yeah, and then so he can go have dinner with his family, his wife, and his son. But secretly, his wife
also have skin peeling off their head and lizard.
Well, yeah, they're all part lizard.
Yeah.
But then his wife poisons him, and he dies, and the world is saved.
And they high five each other.
But the Tobacco Force doesn't know this is happening. What the Tobacco Force knows is the world is going to end any minute now. They're too late. They didn't stop Lazardin in time, and the chief called Ammonia back to tell her that their only path forward is to operate their robots' time travel mode.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to engage time travel, even though they don't have to anymore because Lazardin is dead and the world is saved. No thanks to them. And so they talk to the robot, and he's like, "Do you want to change eras? Are you sure? Confirm." And they're like, "Okay, yeah. I mean, there's no way out of this. Let's just change eras." So the robot starts saying, "Changing eras now or soon" or something, right? Like, do you have the verbiage for that? But like, it's like changing eras, preparing to change eras over and over again. And they're just kind of waiting for it to happen. And then it cuts back to the rat chief in bed with his lover, and they're like, and she's like, "Dude, you got to disengage. You work too much. Come back to bed."
Yeah. And
then they make out and fuck, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's a good scene. Like green drool everywhere. It's it's not as goopy as 964 Pinocchio, but it's committing to the bit, right?
Yeah.
And then at this moment, it cuts back to Tobacco Force, and now it is nighttime. They've been at it for hours, and now they're all smoking. They never smoke, but they are all smoking, nervous, pounding those cigarettes, waiting for the robot to take them back in time, and it just keeps going, preparing to change eras. And that's the end of the fucking movie.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't watch the post-credit scene, did you?
The post-credit scene is
I think you went to the bathroom. No, did you see that? I wasn't sure if you saw it.
The post-credit scenes, they're still on the lake smoking.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the end of the movie. The movie ends. You sit through all the credits, and it cuts back, and they're still doing nothing.
Yeah.
And that's where it leaves I'm even down for it to being like they can't save the world. I'm down for the rat being like you got to disengage and like personal life work life balance type thing. That's funny. Even though he didn't allow them to have it, which is also funnier. And then it cuts back to them, but they don't do anything else. They're just waiting for the robot to change, which is a joke, right? And it's
Yeah.
a good joke. Here's the problem. It doesn't have a button. There's no payoff. The payoff is
Yeah.
just there's no payoff. But at the end of all of this, it felt like there should have been something, because the movie has a pretty good banger opening, and then it's disjointed and weird with the short stories shoved in there. And maybe that's the point, because the short stories don't have a button either.
Yeah.
They all end just short of like conclusions. And is that the point of the movie? Is like delayed gratification? Are we edging on something here?
Is that the joke?
Hey, download Gooner now.
Wait,
Yeah,
I don't know. Is that a website I go to?
It's an edging joke. Well, yeah, it can be.
Do I need to go to? Hold on, let's see.
That's
Should
right.
I wait? Hold on. Let me.
You thought the ad read was in there as a joke because they're fighting minions, but the ad read in there is a joke because this whole movie is masturbatory without release.
Let me look up masturbatory edging and see what pops up in my search history.
It's gonna be gooting.
Oh, okay. Like Sloth and Chunk and Pirate Ship and Goonies. Sean Astin. Have you never seen Goonies?
It's our time. It's our time down here.
Wow, Gimcrack loves that one.
Movie fucking rules. Love Goonies.
All right. Well, yeah, that was the end of the movie.
We should have the tumor do the truffle shuffle.
Oh, that might be interesting.
Where's the Sigma brain at?
I think I got to do the truffle to get that damn suppository back in.
Back in? Wait, what? Hold on. What's scurrying across the floor? What the fuck is in those, Dustin?
I don't know
What
what's
kind
in
of
them.
Cronenberg shit are you shoving into your body?
I don't know what's in them, but I know what's in me. Sigma brain. That's a good ad.
All right. On that note,
hey Patrick.
Yeah.
In a way, I brought you here to offer you a job. You think you can do it better, so here's your chance.
So here is your chance. You have a chance to buy PodCoin right now before it explodes, because it's getting really high up there. Just buy it right now. Okay, anyway, you have a chance to change 3 things about this movie to make it a more mainstream, more enjoyable, more sellable movie. 3 things and only 3 things. Go.
What would I change about this movie? Okay, so I think we touched on one. One thing that I would change is I would remove all of the interstitial stories to being their own film about campfire stories or something.
Okay.
And then flesh out this superhero thing more with the interpersonal drama that we already talked about. So that's 2 things, right? That's remove the stories to give the stories breathing space, but then develop the story with the arcs and drama that are festering within it. Is that 1 thing or 2?
It depends. Do you have 1 more thing or 2 more things?
Okay. That's fair.
See what game I'm playing here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Relentless.
Uh-huh.
Here's the other thing this movie needs. It needs a fucking button. It needs something to tie it together thematically, even if you end on them just at the beach. Like the length and breadth of the movie had to be in them like coming to terms with something and then refusing to come to terms with that, or like existing in some sort of limbo or commentary on workforce or something. There had to be something there. There was nothing, and I do think that now the more we talk about that, maybe that was what the director was going for, like literally. Like stories that stop short of their ending and don't give you that satisfaction of that end, and we're just languishing in that kind of a space. And I'm not sure what he was trying to say with that, but I do think that's what we're going for. Or maybe it was just
one of those things that's just like a cheap. It's almost like a cheap way out. Like, well, we don't want to feed you the story, so you have to think about it for yourself. Like, you decide where it wants to end. I'm like, you want me to decide, or you couldn't figure it out? Which one is this truth? I don't. But I haven't seen. I only saw Rubber in this one, so I don't know if that's.
Yeah, that is true. It's the only 2 that I have seen, but they do kind of, to me, have very much the same things that don't work for me as a viewer. And like, I think that's the thing about this director is pretty much you're going to be one of those people that has to be on his vibe, right? Like, most people, a lot of people love David Lynch, right? Like, I love David Lynch. I'm sure you like David Lynch as well. What did Jack do? like he only had 17 minutes and he still made that movie fantastic.
Yeah.
But David Lynch is a vibe, and he's not everyone's vibe. So this director's name, do you have it?
It is Quentin Dupuis.
So Quentin Dupuis' vibe, I don't think it's everyone's vibe. And I think that's what I'm butting up against is like what he's doing a specific thing and he keeps getting to do it. So people like it. But I am not one of those people.
But it is a very, like you said, with the Wes Anderson kind of vibe where everyone's like, oh, this is amazing and this is fantastic. And I watch a lot of them. I'm like, okay, like, yeah, okay.
I'll confess, I am that way about Wes Anderson movies. I do like Wes Anderson movies a lot.
Yeah, some of them are
they don't all work though. That last one, Asteroid City. Oh my god, I could not get into that one.
I have no clue about that one. I like Rushmore was good.
Yeah,
Royal Tenenbaums was good.
The Royal Tenenbaums is probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. There's definitely some good ones in there. Life Aquatic had some absolutely bizarre moments that I loved, but overall as a story, I'm like, I don't know if I really liked it as a complete story. But
yeah, I think that's true about Life Aquatic. It gets actually the Life Aquatic is the most like this movie. It's aesthetically, it's fun. It's got some cool stuff in it, but ultimately, it didn't work for me as a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We brought it back around. It needs a button. I'm not sure what the button should be. I've been thinking about this all day. I'm not sure what the button should be. I'm not sure what the punchline is at the end of this or what the final sting is for this movie. But you know what? It should just end on the rat making out.
Yeah.
And like that's actually, you know what? Let's streamline this. They do the errors thing. We see that, and while that is happening, it just cuts back to that rat scene. But instead of cutting back to them, romantic saxophone music swells with Careless Whisper blares, and it cuts to credit. And then we hear that, and maybe even love making sounds. But we definitely live in that space of like that like vibe and that music for the length and breadth of the credits, and then it cuts back to them at the beach. Now it's a joke.
Prepare to beat off.
Boom! We did it. We fixed the movie, Dustin.
We fixed it. I think that would be good. Yes, that would be entertaining.
I had to really walk the dog to get there.
You did. At least you walked it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm sorry. I have not been a very good co-host tonight. My brain is
was it a good movie? Did you enjoy the movie?
I
think show it to other people.
I do think it is a well-made movie. Like I said, I just don't think it's my vibe, but I would probably recommend it to people if I thought it was theirs.
Okay, I get that. I could definitely see where some people like it a lot more than others. I liked it, and I liked the chunks of it, but as a complete, it could have been a little bit better. But yeah, the chunks, like the face and the bucket, that was fun. Bucket face,
bucket face. Play Buckethead music over the background. Get copyright struck in every capacity.
Yes. Oh man, we could be like the podcast that was copyrighted, struck by Buckethead. We could be cool.
No one has ever accused us of being cool.
No, that's true. All right, I think is that it? Are we done here?
I think we're done here.
Do I need to? Let's see. Ooh, Patrick. PodCoin. Did you buy any PodCoin yet?
I gave you that IOU.
Let's see. I am going to cash out right now because it is worth about 200. What was the thing you said? Like, what was that called? Rug pull? Is that illegal?
I mean, yeah, but are you going to get caught?
Nope. Okay. Anyway, yeah, we'll see you guys in whatever.
We are the Found on Shelf.
Oh yeah,
podcast.
outros.
Yeah, we are the Found on Shelf podcast. Yes. If you like what we do, we do this every other week on New Video Tuesday. Please follow us on social media at Blue Sky. We are Found on Shelf Pod, all one word, at Blue Sky. The last bastion on the internet, safe from the Nazis, probably, maybe. This show is recorded a little bit in advance. Stay tuned.
Call us.
Call us at the number
252-564-8666.
I feel like my brain's melted out of my head.
It happens.
Changement d'époque en cours. 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 Changement d'époque en cours.
Do you ever think that too much is happening on this show?
Didn't you already say that?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's funny or at the end for a button.
Good night, folks.